#1 in the mornings. King 5 News on Kong starts now.
Well, having a glass of wine or two a day may help you relax in the evenings, but you may be harming yourself more than you're helping. Here to talk about the pros and cons of alcohol and whether a little bit is even too much is Dr. Paul Kassab from Virginia Mason Medical Center. Good morning and Happy New Year. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
After the New Year, it's a great time to talk about alcohol consumption because a lot of people are just still getting over from celebrating the beginning of the new year. But when we talk about alcohol, in your mind, how much is too much alcohol? Any drinking at all? 1 a day, 2 a day?
Well, what a moderate drinking is considered drink 1 glass of wine or a beer or 1.5 ounces of hard liquor a day for women and 1 to 2 drinks for men. Moderate drinking is what is linked to the health benefits.
We've been hearing mixed messages. First, and for many, many months, we've been hearing that a glass of red wine, especially a day, is actually good for you. And then there were some studies that came out that linked alcohol consumption, any amount of alcohol consumption, to an increased risk of breast cancer. So where's the fact and where's the myth, fiction in that?
It's good to differentiate between the health benefits of alcohol and wine, heart disease versus breast cancer. Actually, a glass of wine a day will help reduce the risks of heart problems and stroke by improving blood pressure and increasing the good cholesterol, the HDL cholesterol. Recent studies have reported that a drink or two a day for women would increase the chances of breast cancer by about 10%, and more than that, actually 3 or more would increase the risk for up to 30%. So a drink a day, although it would help with the heart disease, it may not be a good idea for women at risk for breast cancer.
Is it something that women should really be mindful of, though, even if they just have a drink a day or every couple of days? Is that something that we should
A drink
consider?
a day probably would not be that much of a risk, but more than that, and it's good to develop the good habits of drinking at an early age rather than later on in life.
And we've also heard that red wine is better than white wine. But you say that really it's the amount of alcohol, regardless of what it is you're drinking, that really is key.
Actually, a study in 2003 in the New England Journal of Medicine have reported that regardless of the type of alcohol, it's the amount of alcohol, that's true what you said, that would pose the risk or the benefit. The story about red wine is because it has phenols and flavonoids, which are terms of the material present in red wine, that has an antioxidant property. And we believe, or that's what we think will help protect the arteries of the blood vessels, arteries, and also with the clumping of the blood cells.
Some people think that 1 or 2 glasses a day of moderate drinking is fine, but over an extended period of time, at what point should one ask themselves, I might be drinking too much, or am I an alcoholic? What are the telltale signs, in your opinion? If they're highly functioning people, they're doing great on the job, they're doing great at home, their relationships are fine, but how much is too much drinking?
If the person is asking themselves if I'm drinking too much, then they probably
are. Drinking too much.
Exactly. There are a few questions that we can ask and actually to ascertain if the person has a problem with drinking. But the norm of 7 drinks a week, which is a drink a day, is what's considered moderate drinking. Anything more than that is bordering on the excessive drinking.
That's good to know.
Thank you.
And when you say a glass of wine, you're talking 5 ounces.
5 ounces, yes. The
Not
5
out of a
ounces,
bottle.
yes.
Finally, weight gain is another thing to think about when it comes to alcohol consumption, right?
Yes.
And anything else that we should think about when we're consuming alcohol? Obviously, the safety concerns, but
yes.
physically?
Other than safety concerns, the more you drink, actually, you will lose the protection against heart disease and stroke, and it can also increase your risk of osteoporosis.
Like most things, it's all about moderation.
It's all about moderation.
Doctor, pleasure to have you here.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you so much. For more information, you can head to our website, king5.com, and click on News Links. Brad?